Hello, dear students. A very big thanks to you, everyone, because we reached the 250 subscribers. సో ఇలాగే ప్రతి వీడియో కూడా షేర్ అండ్ లైక్ చేస్తూ ఉండండి. సో మరిన్ని అప్డేట్స్ ఐ విల్ ట్రై టు మేక్ ద మోర్ వీడియోస్. ఇఫ్ యువర్ ఎంకరేజ్మెంట్ ఈజ్ దేర్, ఐ కెన్ మేక్ ద మోర్ వీడియోస్. సో very thanks to you once again to reach the 250 subscribers in the last day, nearly 252 subscribers, and very thanks to you. So today's session is alkenes. So many students they're asking about the organic chemistry, GOC and alkanes and alkynes and the complete second year organic chemistry. So not directly complete the second year organic chemistry. From the basics, if I make it, it will be useful for the students who is not attending the classes because of the COVID situation, and it will be helpful for you for the competitive exam. Because of this COVID situation, maximum all the competitive exams are going to be postponed, and we will get the more time to prepare. So don't waste the time, prepare perfectly and use the time and achieve your goal. So today topic is alkenes. Today topic is alkenes. So in this session we will be discuss the preparation methods of the alkenes, and the next session we will be discuss the physical properties and chemical properties. So alkenes nothing but it is a unsaturated hydrocarbon. Alkenes are a unsaturated hydrocarbons. So as we know that unsaturated hydrocarbon mean either double bond is present, either triple bond is present. So now double bond present, carbon to carbon, if the double bond is present, such type of hydrocarbons we call as a alkenes. Carbon to carbon triple bond is present, such type of hydrocarbons we call as a alkynes. So now alkenes nothing but carbon to carbon double bond is present, and the carbon valency is 4. To make the or to satisfy the carbon valency 4, the remaining 2 bonds with monovalent atoms, that may be hydrogen, that may be chlorine, that may be fluorine, whatever it. So now here this is the alkene, and the alkene general formula CnH2n. So n equal to number of carbon atoms, n equal to number of carbon atoms, maybe that is 2, 3, 4, 5. So compulsory start with the 2, because carbon to carbon double bond is nothing but at least 2 carbons is required. So at the same time, if you see the alkenes here, carbon to carbon double bond containing compounds we call as alkenes, and here this carbon hybridization is sp2. So hybridization is equal to number of sigma bonds, sum of the number of sigma bonds at the same time lone pair. So there is no lone pair here, only sigma bonds are present. So it is the first sigma bond, it is the second sigma bond, it is the third sigma bond. Around this carbon we have the 3 sigma bond. 3 sigma bond nothing but the hybridization of the carbon is sp2. So this is the hybridization of the carbon. So now here if you compare the alkanes to alkenes, alkanes to alkane, alkane carbon to carbon single bond is present, in alkene carbon to carbon double bond is present. Now when the single bond is present, the bond length is more compared to double bond. If you see the alkanes and alkenes, alkanes that carbon to carbon bond length is 1.54 angstroms, and the carbon to carbon in alkenes 1.34 angstroms is present. One is 1.54, one is 1.34. Carbon to carbon when single bond is present, bond length is 1.54 angstroms. Carbon to carbon double bond is present, the bond length is 1.34 angstroms, because number of bonds is increases, means single bond, double bond, triple bond, the bond length of the single bond is more than double bond, then triple bond. So here carbon to carbon single bond is there, due to that bond length is more, and here carbon to carbon double bond is there, due to that bond length is less. So and here it is the sp2 hybridization, and here in the alkanes the carbon hybridization is sp3, because I said that number of sigma bonds, sum of the number of sigma bonds is equal to hybridization. Around the carbon how many sigma bonds is there, we have to check. First one, second one, third one, fourth one, totally 4 sigma bonds. 4 sigma bond nothing but the hybridization is sp3. Here 3 sigma bonds, so hybridization is sp2. So here S character is 25 percentage and here S character is 33.3 percentage. So it means when the S character is increases, the electronegativity of the compound is increases. So mean if you see the electronegativity, alkenes is more electronegative than alkanes because S character is increases, S percentage is increases, electronegativity is increases. Same if you take the alkynes, carbon to carbon triple bond is present, it means that is sp hybridation mean 50% of the S character. So S character more nothing but electronegativity more. So we can say that electronegativity in alkynes is very more compared to alkenes and compared to alkynes. So this is the introduction part of the alkenes. This is the introduction part of the alkenes. At the same time, if you see that stereochemistry of this alkenes, if you see that otherwise dipole moment, if you want to check the dipole moment of this one, alkenes can form two types of geometrical isomerisms. One is cis and other one is trans. For example, I am taking CH3 and CH3 and H. We can say this is the cis compound. So the name of the compound is 1, 2, 3, 4. If we give the numbering, totally 4 carbons are present. 4 carbon nothing but but, and carbon to carbon double bond is present. So we can say that is ene, but the double bond is present at the second carbon. So we can say that is a but2ene. So this is a cis but2ene. Cis nothing but two same groups present at same site. We can say that is a cis compound. So here one CH3 group, at the same time here one CH3 group, two same groups present at same site. We can say cis compound. So this is the cis compound, this is the cis butene, and one more, two same groups present opposite side to the double bonded carbon, we can say trans compound. So I am writing the trans compound, it is a carbon to carbon, and here hydrogen, and here hydrogen. And the next one, here methyl group, and here also one methyl group. Two same group present as a opposite direction, we can say this is the trans but2ene. It is also but2ene only, but trans but2ene. It is a cis but2ene, it is a trans but2ene. So now if you see here, dipole moment, if you see, compared to cis compound, the trans compound dipole moment is less because here two groups are present opposite direction. Now the dipole moment is opposite to each group. So that means the dipole moment is cancelled because of the opposite direction is present. So we can say that dipole moment of the trans compound is 0. So now here dipole moment is same direction is present here. So that's why dipole moment is not equal to 0. By experimentally we can say that dipole moment of the cis but2ene is 0.33 dB. So this is the dipole moment of the cis compound, it is the dipole moment of the trans compound. Dipole moment, if it is 0, we can say the compound is non-polar. Dipole moment, if it is 0, the compound we call as a non-polar. Dipole moment, if it is not equal to 0, we can say that is a polar compound. So cis compound having more polar nature compared to trans compound. So we know that polar compounds are more soluble in polar solvents, non-polar compounds are more soluble in non-polar solvent. So cis compound is more soluble in polar solvents like water, and the trans compound is more soluble in non-polar solvent like benzene and carbon tetrachloride. So this is about the stereochemistry of the alkenes. So introduction part and the stereochemistry of the alkenes is completed. Now we are going to the preparation of the alkenes. The preparation of the alkenes is very important. So I am going to discuss that preparation of the alkenes. Methods of preparation. Methods of preparation. It will be useful for the MSET also. So better to, when you are listening the class, try to make the notes. So because compared to listening, if you make the notes, it is very useful to you, and at the same time it will be practice to you also. So now methods of preparation. Next one is methods of preparation. All the Telugu students, means AP and Telangana, who is preparing for the MSET, better to follow these notes. At the same time NEET and JEE mains, who is preparing, so better to follow these notes because NCERT in the NEET and JEE Mains, maximum the questions will be covered from the NCERT. 90% of the questions will cover, but the remaining 10% they will cover from the other material also, means other reference books. So if you prepare the NCERT, maximum it is enough, but you have to prepare point to point and each line to line, word to word, you have to prepare from the NCERT. That is very, very must. At the same time, if you have the time, you go for the other materials also. So now I am going to explain NCERT and other material concepts. So it will be useful for the MSET and NEET, at the same time JEE Mains type. So now here, methods of preparation. First method of preparation here, dehydrohalogenation. First method of preparation is dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide. This is the first preparation method. So what is the first preparation method? Dehydrohalogenation. So D nothing but in the chemistry simply removal. D nothing but simply what is that here? Removal. So D nothing but removal, hydro nothing but hydrogen, halo nothing but simply we can say that halogen. So removal of hydrogen and halogen from the alkyl halide. It will be give the alkenes. When you remove the hydrogen and halogen from the alkyl halide, will be get the alkenes. So let us see how we will get that. So for example, I am taking what alkyl halide I am taking. So carbon, and here I am taking the bromine, and this is one hydrogen. At the same time, here one hydrogen, and here hydrogen, and here hydrogen, and this is also hydrogen. Right, this is what we can say alkyl halide, because it's completely alkyl group and this is halogen group. So now here this reaction and treating with alcoholic potassium hydroxide. In the presence of alcoholic potassium hydroxide, it is a strong base. Alcoholic potassium hydroxide is a strong base. The strong base we are taking in this reaction. At the same time, when this alkyl halide reacting with the alcoholic potassium hydroxide, it is follows the E2 mechanism. It is follows the E2 mechanism. Elimination reactions are two types. One is E1, one is E2. So here, when we are reacting with alcoholic potassium hydroxide, it is follows the E2 mechanism. Mean in the E2 mechanism, there is no formation of the carbocation. And when the carbocation is not forming, at that time no rearrangement is there. No rearrangement. Once again, elimination reactions are two types, E1 and E2. So this reaction is follows the E2 mechanism. What is the E2 mechanism? What is the concept mean? In the E2 mechanism, carbocation does not possible. At the same time, in which reaction carbocation possible, that may undergo rearrangement. Here carbocation not forming, it means rearrangement does not takes place. So now here carbocation does not form. That is the main concept from the alcoholic potassium hydroxide. Then what happened here? In this process, from the one of the carbon halogen, from the other carbon hydrogen is eliminated, because dehydrohalogenation, hydrogen and halogen should be eliminated. Hydrogen from one atom and halogen from other atom is removal, not from the same atoms. So now here bromine is more electronegative, it will be takes the electrons and going outside. At the same time, this carbon to hydrogen, at the same time carbon to hydrogen, whatever the bond is there, the bond is migrated to here. The bond is migrated to here. So at the same time, what is possible? Hydrogen, carbon to here double bond, and here carbon, and this is hydrogen, and here hydrogen, and this is also hydrogen. Clear? So this is possible. So here alkenes is possible. At the same time, whatever the bromine is releasing from here, this bromine react with potassium and forming potassium bromide, and whatever the hydrogen is releasing from here will be reactive with OH minus, and formation of the water takes place. So finally, what is possible here? Alkene is possible. So this is the preparation of the alkenes by the dehydrohalogenation process. So let us see that another examples here. So for example, another example I am taking here. So for example, I am taking ethyl chloride, CH3, CH2, Cl. So in the presence of alcoholic potassium hydroxide, So what is the product is takes place? So we know that chlorine is eliminating from one carbon and hydrogen is eliminating from other carbon. Means here chlorine, here hydrogen. Chlorine takes the electrons and going out Cl minus, and hydrogen giving the bond to here. That means between these two carbons, double bond is takes place. It means CH2, double bond CH2. And whatever the hydrogen is releasing from here will be react with OH minus, and formation of water takes place. And whatever the Cl is releasing react with potassium, forming of potassium chloride takes place. So this is one of the example. And the next example, if you see that dehydrohalogenation. So another example. So another example in the dehydrohalogenation. So let us see that another example. I am taking that CH3, CH2, CHCl, CH3. This I am taking. 2-chlorobutane. So from the 2-chlorobutane, we are reacting with the alcoholic potassium hydroxide. So what is the product that takes place? We know that chlorine is eliminating from one carbon and hydrogen is eliminating from other carbon. Mean to the left side of this carbon and right side of this carbon, two hydrogens are there. So here, this is the chlorine attached carbon. Chlorine is eliminating from this carbon. The hydrogen is eliminated to the any one of the carbon which is directly attached to this carbon. Means either this carbon, either here. So two chances is there eliminate the hydrogen, but which is gives the stable product. Let us see here. So two chances is there. So first one and the second one I am taking. For example, if the hydrogen is eliminating from this hydrogen, this carbon. So for example, hydrogen is eliminating from here. Carbon to hydrogen bond is present, the bond is migrated to here. It means between these two carbon, double bond is takes place. At that time, CH3, CH, double bond, CH, CH3. One of the product is forming. At the same time, for example, from here hydrogen is eliminated. So whatever the hydrogen is there, this hydrogen giving the bond to here. It means between these two carbon atoms, double bond is developed. So now what is the product? CH3, CH2, CH, double bond, CH2. So this is the product is possible. So in these two ways is product is possible, but we have to decide which is more stable. Mean we have to follow the Sage-Jeff rule you have to follow. In this mechanism, you have to follow the Sage-Jeff rule. So what is the mean of Sage-Jeff rule? What is the mean of Sage-Jeff rule? So Sage-Jeff rule mean the hydrogen is eliminating from the less hydrogen containing carbon. The hydrogen is eliminating from where? Less hydrogen containing carbon. So this carbon having 3 hydrogen, this carbon having 2 hydrogen. So from where the hydrogen is eliminated? Less hydrogen containing carbon. Mean from here hydrogen is eliminated. So this is the more stable product compared to here. Otherwise we can explain other way also. More number of substituents present around the double bonded compound. More number of substituents present around the double bonded compound, that is more stable. Here this is the double bonded compound. One substituent and one, totally two substituents present here. This is a double bond compound, and left side completely only one substituent is present. In this product, two substituents is present. In this product, only one substituent is present. Where the more number of substituents is present, that is more stable. So now this is the major product, and we can say this is a minor product. So this is the formation of the water. Alkene from their alkyl halide. So this is the preparation method of the alkene with the help of what alcoholic potassium hydroxide, and we called as a dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide. So once you take the screenshot. And the next one is dehalogenation of vinyl dihalide. Next preparation method is dehalogenation. So next preparation method is what? Dehalogenation of vinyl dihalide. So we discussed that D nothing but simply removal. Dehalogenation means halogens we are removing. Dehalogenation means what? Halogens we are removing. Dehalogenation from where? Vinyl dihalide. So what is the meaning of vinyl dihalide? Let us see here. So second preparation method, dehalogenation. Second preparation method is dehalogenation of vinyl dihalide. Dehalogenation of vinyl dihalide. What is that here? Dehalogenation of vinyl dihalide. So let us say dehalogenation nothing but removal of the halogens. Dehalogenation. D nothing but removal. Halogenation nothing but halogens removing. Dehalogenation of vicinal dihalide. What's the meaning of vicinal dihalide? So let us see that vicinal dihalide nothing but dihalide mean two halogens are present. The two halogens are present on two neighboring carbon atoms we call as a vicinal dihalide. So here one halogen, here one halogen. Two halogens present on the two neighboring carbon atom, that is called as the vicinal dihalide. At the same time, if two halogens present on the same carbon, we can say there is a geminal dihalide. One is vicinal dihalide, one is geminal dihalide. So by the both the methods we can prepare the alkenes. By using vicinal dihalide we can prepare, by using geminal dihalides also we can prepare. So now we are taking that vicinal dihalide we are taking. So dehalogenation of vicinal dihalide. So for that we are using that zinc dust and ethanol or alcoholic solution we are using. I am taking that vicinal dihalide I am taking. What's the meaning of vicinal? Two halogens present on two neighboring carbons. So I am taking chlorines I am taking. Because fluorines and iodines very less. Fluorine is very vigorous in reaction. Iodine is very slow, at the same time reversible reaction. So always we are taking as a bromine and a chlorine we are giving as a more priority. So I am taking the chlorine in this case and I am reacting with zinc dust and the presence of alcohol. Zinc dust and alcohol. Simply zinc in the form of powdered and some impurities is present. Simply we can say there is a zinc dust. Just remember the zinc dust as say. So now here when I am reacting the zinc with the vicinal dihalide, zinc valence is 2. It can be formed the 2 bonds. So now here 2 chlorines are present. This is the zinc. When react with these 2 chlorines, the product formation is zinc chloride. Product formation is what? Zinc chloride product is forming. At the same time here between these 2 carbon atoms a double bond is developed. So it means CH2 double bond CH2 formation takes place. It means alkene formation takes place. This is what with the help of vicinal dihalide. Same geminal dihalide also we can take, there is no problem. Geminal dihalide means what? Two halogens present on the same carbon we call as a geminal dihalide. Two halogens present on the same carbon atom we call as a geminal dihalide, and this is also reacting with zinc and alcohol or ethanol or methanol, whatever it. Same here also the zinc react with 2 chlorines and here carbon to carbon double bond is developed. So it means what is possible here? And one of the hydrogen will become to here. At that time CH2 double bond CH2 takes place. CH2 double bond CH2 takes place because one of the hydrogen come from this carbon to here and the alkene takes place. So this is what preparation of the alkenes with the help of dehalogenation of vicinal dihalide. Once again, vicinal dihalide means 2 halogens present on the 2 neighboring carbon atoms. Geminal dihalide nothing but 2 halogens present on the same carbon atoms. So this is what preparation method of the alkenes. At the same time, next one is controlled hydrogenation. Next one is controlled hydrogenation. So controlled hydrogenation, otherwise we call as a partial hydrogenation. What is the meaning of controlled hydrogenation? Controlled hydrogenation, controlled oxidation. So these are the terms generally we are listening. What is the meaning of controlled hydrogenation or controlled oxidation? Nothing but we are doing the process with some controlled. Means for example, if I am taking the hydrogenation, nickel, palladium, platinum catalyst if I am taking, what is the character of the hydrogen in the presence of nickel, palladium catalyst? Mean a unsaturated compound converted to saturated. Completely, triple bond is a triple bond converted to single bond, double bond is a double bond converted to single bond. We can say this is a complete process. But controlled process means we have to stop the reaction at the middle. It means triple bond maybe stop at double bond. That is called as a controlled oxidation process. Means entire process, complete process does not occurring. The process is top middle only, that we can say controlled oxidation. We are doing the process as a control or partially we are doing. So for such type of controlled oxidation or partial controlled hydrogenation or partial hydrogenation, we are using some different catalysts we are using. So now the process is here controlled hydrogenation of alkynes. Controlled hydrogenation of alkynes. I am taking the alkynes I am taking. So what is the mean of alkynes? Carbon to carbon triple bond is a, that we call as a alkynes. So that alkynes I am taking, I am doing the controlled hydrogenation process. So let us see how can you do the controlled hydrogenation. So alkynes nothing but, as we know, carbon to carbon triple bond is present. Carbon to carbon triple bond is present. So controlled hydrogenation we can do by the using two catalysts. In that, one of the catalyst we call as a Rosenmund catalyst, other catalyst is Lindlar's catalyst. So what is the Rosenmund catalyst? We are adding the hydrogens in the presence of palladium and barium sulfate. Palladium and barium sulfate. Simply we can say poisonized catalyst. Means catalyst activation we are decreasing by adding some other substances we call as a poisonized catalyst. So hydrogen, palladium and barium sulfate we call this is a Rosenmund catalyst. Very important here. This is a Rosenmund catalyst, and the next two catalyst is hydrogen and palladium calcium carbonate. Calcium carbon, palladium with the calcium carbonate, we can say this is a Lindlar's catalyst. We call this is a Lindlar's catalyst. So one is Rosenmund catalyst and other one is Lindlar's catalyst. So these two catalysts we are using to convert the alkynes to alkenes. Alkynes to alkene. So that is partially we are doing the hydrogenation. If we do the complete hydrogenation, alkynes converted to alkanes, but we are not doing complete hydrogenation, partially we are doing. It means alkynes does not convert it to alkanes. The reaction has stopped at alkenes only. So that's why we can say that is what? Controlled hydrogenation or partial hydrogenation. So now here, this is the alkyne. From the alkyne, we will get the alkenes. Let us see what is the alkenes formula. CH2 and CH2. So this is the alkenes are possible when we are using these two catalysts. One is Rosenmund catalyst, one more is Lindlar's catalyst. When you are using these two catalysts, a alkene is forming, and this alkene is very important point. It is a cis alkene. It is a cis alkene. So when you are using the Rosenmund catalyst and Lindlar's catalyst, what product is possible? I mean a cis alkene is possible. Very, very, very important. When you are using the Rosenmund catalyst or Lindlar's catalyst, what is the product is possible? A cis alkene is possible. Then here, this is the alkyne. Alkynes we converted to alkenes, but which alkene this is? A cis alkene. Cis alkene is possible, right? So for example, I am taking here CH3, I am taking, better convenient, I am taking here CH3, I am taking. So now we can understand clearly here, this is a cis product. It is what here? A cis product is possible. So by using which reagent cis product is possible? Lindlar's catalyst and Rosenmund catalyst. And the next one is by using another reagent will be formed the trans product, that is called as a Birch reduction. That process we call as a Birch reduction, and that is sodium in the presence of liquid ammonia, otherwise lithium in the presence of liquid ammonia. This is also we can say that is sodium and NH2, otherwise lithium and NH2 also we call, because hydrogens are released from here. So this we call as a Birch reduction. In the Birch reduction, the product formation is trans product. So let us see here the trans product, how it is possible here. This is the trans product which is forming by using the Birch reduction. So what is the mean of here Birch reduction? What is the reagents we are taking? Sodium and liquid ammonia, or lithium and liquid ammonia. So when you are using the Rosenmund catalyst and Lindlar's catalyst, the product formation is cis alkene. When you are using the Birch reduction, the product is forming a trans alkene. For example, here this is the hydrogen. So what is the product possible? Trans alkene is possible. This is a very, very, very important. Which of the following reagents will be give the trans compound? Which of the following reagents will be give the cis compound? So this is the complete what? Partial hydrogenation. What is that? Partial hydrogenation. So let us take the screenshot. This is the partial hydrogenation of, or controlled hydrogenation of alkynes. Clear? So next one is, so this everything is preparation methods only. In the NCERT textbook, they given only two preparation methods. One is a dehydrohalogenation is given. At the same time, Kolbe electrolysis is given. But the remaining processes does not given. But the remaining process is also very, very important. So means we discussed that dehydrohalogenation is completed. Next, Kolbe electrolysis, which is there in the NCERT. So let us see that Kolbe electrolysis. And this Kolbe electrolysis we discussed in alkanes also. Kolbe electrolysis. Kolbe electrolysis we discussed in alkanes also we discussed. So now here Kolbe electrolysis. Kolbe electrolysis means we are taking one of a higher fatty acid that we are adding into the water in a electrolytic cell, and we are passing electricity, and the compounds are split, and at the anode one product, at the cathode one product is possible. So let us see what product is possible. For that we are taking a higher fatty acids I am taking, or malonic acid, otherwise succinic acid. Succinic acid we can take, otherwise adipic acid we can take, right? So now here for example I am taking a succinic acid, potassium succinate I am taking, otherwise malic acid or oxalic acid also we can take. I am taking the succinic acid I am taking. So for example succinic acid formula CH2COOH and CH2COOH. This we call as a succinic acid. What is that here? This is a succinic acid. So this succinic acid I am reacting with sodium or potassium metals. Sodium or potassium. When these react with sodium or potassium, these hydrogens plays replaced by the metals, and this hydrogen going out in the form of hydrogen gas. So now here CH2, COO, sodium or potassium you can take, otherwise CH2, same here also, COO, Na means sodium or potassium we can take. At the same time hydrogen gas is eliminated from here. So now we can say this is the sodium succinic acid or potassium succinic acid, depend on sodium or potassium what we are taking. So now this sodium succinic acid I am taking, and I am doing the electrolysis process by addition of water. So let us see what product is possible. CH2COONA, at the same time CH2COONA, potassium succinate. To this I am adding the water. For example I am taking the 2 moles of water. So better to understand, I am writing as a HO and H, and here also HO and H. So when I am doing the electrolysis process, what happened? This is the sodium, it is the sodium. Here what? Hydroxide and hydroxide. So 1 mole of sodium react with 1 hydrogen, 2 moles of sodium react with 2 hydroxides, and the formation of the product is what? 2 moles of sodium hydroxide is eliminated. What is eliminated? 2 moles of sodium hydroxide eliminated. Let us see the remaining is what? What is there here? Hydrogen. Here what is there? Hydrogen. The 2 hydrogens combine and releasing as a hydrogen gas. And the next product, this is what? COO means CO2. Here also COO means CO2. It means 2 moles of carbon dioxide releases. When 2 moles of carbon dioxide releases, 1 bond is migrated here, 1 bond is taken here. It means this carbon to carbon double bond is developed. So it means what product is possible here? CH2 double bond CH2. So this is our main product, alkene preparation. So this is Kolbe electrolysis. In Kolbe electrolysis, this is a short method. We will be discuss the mechanism also. So in Kolbe electrolysis process, we are preparing the alkenes. At the same time, carbon dioxide gas is developed, and NaOH and H2 also forming. At cathode what is forming, at anode what is forming will be discussed. And to understand easily, this is a short method. Sodium react with hydroxides forming as a sodium hydroxide, and the remaining 2 hydrogens is combined forming as a H2, and remaining CO2 combined forming as a carbon dioxide, and this bond is migrated here, CH2 to CH2, 1 more bond is developed, it means forming as a alkene. So this is the complete preparation of the alkenes by Kolbe electrolysis process. So let us see the mechanism of this one. So now we are going to the mechanism. So because this process we are doing at electrolysis, means we are passing the electricity and we are doing. So electrolysis process, we are taking the 2 electrodes, 1 electrode behaving as a cathode, other electrode behaving as anode. So at cathode what substances is going, at anode what substance is going, let us discuss. So first what I am taking, potassium or sodium, what succinic acid I am taking, or sodium succinate, COONA. This is I am taking, right? At the same time, 1 more what I am taking, water I am taking. Yes, water I am taking. So what I am doing, electrolysis process I am doing. What I am doing, electrolysis process, and what the product is forming, hydrogen is forming, carbon dioxide forming, sodium hydroxide forming, and alkenes also forming. What is that here? CH2 double bond CH2 forming, and NaOH is forming. At the same time hydrogen forming, at the same time carbon dioxide also forming, right? These are the product forming. So let us see here. When you pass the electricity, the H2O will be split into H plus and OH minus. So H2O will be split into what? H plus and OH minus. And here this potassium or this sodium will be split into CH2COO minus and Na plus. CH2COO minus and 2 Na plus. How many sodiums are there here? 2 sodiums. 2 sodiums is come out as a sodium plus. And oxygen is more electronegative, takes the electron towards itself. So it means O converted to O minus. So this is the CH2COO Na, right? Now sodium and oxygen is more electronegative, it takes the electron towards itself, and sodium come out as a Na plus, and here oxygens are a negative charge. Here what happened? 2 moles of water I am taking. 2 moles of water is dissociated into 2H plus and 2OH minus. Now here sodium how many? 2 sodiums. Here hydroxides how many? 2 hydroxides. So this 2 sodium, these 2 hydroxides will be combined forming as a sodium hydroxide. 2 moles of sodium hydroxide is forming. One of the product is completed. Next what is there here? H plus. H plus nothing but is a cation. Cation goes towards the cathode side. Cation will be go towards the cathode side, and this is what? Anions. Anions will go towards the anode side. So let us see at anode and at cathode what reactions are possible. This is at anode and this is at cathode. At anode and at cathode what reactions are takes place. At anode CH2 CH2 C double bond O C double bond O minus, CH2 COO minus and CH2 COO minus. At anode oxidation is possible, right? So oxidation nothing but what? Loss of electrons. Oxidation nothing but what here? Loss of electron. Then where the electrons is lost? So this is a minus charge. Minus charge nothing but how many electrons are present here? 2 electrons are present. 1 electron is oxygen, 1 electron is sodiums. So 2 electrons are a bond nothing but 2 electrons, right? A bond nothing but 2 electrons. So this bond completely migrated to oxygen side. The bond is completely migrated to oxygen side. Mean 2 electrons also going towards the oxygen side. 2 electrons also going towards the what? Oxygen side. So now what happened? Oxidation nothing but removal of the electrons or loss of electron. So electrons how it is lost? See here, this COO minus losing 1 electron. This COO minus losing 1 electron. Totally 2 COO minus losses, 2 electrons is losses. This is 2 electrons are present. From the 2 electron 1 electron, and here from the 2 electron 1 electron is losing. That means the COO minus having 1 electron here, this COO minus having 1 electron. So we can say free radicals. Once again, here COO minus means 2 electrons are present. From the 2 electrons 1 electron is losing. That means remaining how many electron present? 1. We can say free radical. Here also 2 electrons are present. From the 2 electron, 1 electron is losing. The remaining electron present on the oxygen, we can say that is a free radical. So now, here what is possible? Free radicals are possible. CH2COO free radical. At the same time, CH2COO free radical. Is this clear? Next at cathode, towards the cathode what is going? Cations. What is there here? 2H plus. So 2H plus, hydrogen is required electron. How many hydrogen ions are there? 2 hydrogen ions. 2 hydrogen ions required 2 electron. Whatever the 2 electrons are releasing from the COO minus at anode, these 2 electrons are taken by the 2H plus. And this H plus is converted to hydrogen gas. Now hydrogen gas formation also completed. So where the hydrogen gas is developed here? At cathode hydrogen gas is forming. So let us come to here. This is the carbon, it is a carbon, carbon to carbon single bond is a. Here also carbon to carbon single bond is a. So now this bond if it is break equally, homolytic cleavage, because between the 2 carbon atoms single bond is there, between the 2 carbon atoms single bond is there. Homolytic fission if it is possible, so this CH2 also will be get the free radical, this carbon also get the free radical, right? So now after homolytic fission, let us see. CH2 is getting free radical and COO means carbon also getting free radical, already on the oxygen free radical is present. So now we can write for easiness or for understanding purpose, I am writing this is COO free radical, means carbon to double bond oxygen and one more oxygen, this is COO, and this oxygen having free radical, now this carbon also getting free radical. Same here also, COO free radical we can take as a 2 moles because it is, and this one. Next here also CH2 free radical, another CS2 free radical is getting, and CH2 to CH2 a bond is present. What is present? A bond is present. Let us see, this carbon to carbon free radical is present, these two free radicals is combined and forms a bond here. That means CS2 to CS2 what is forming? Double bond, means alkene is forming. Here what? Carbon free radical, oxygen free radical, when these two free radicals is combined, oxygen to carbon double bond is takes place, means CO2 formation takes place. How many moles of CO2 forming here? 2 moles of CO2 forming here, 2 moles of alkenes is forming. So alkene formation completed, carbon dioxide formation completed, hydrogen formation completed. At anode what products is takes place? Alkene is forming at anode and carbon dioxide also forming at anode, and at cathode what is forming? Hydrogen gas is forming. So this is the complete mechanism. Maybe which of the following substances formed at cathode in the Kolbe electrolysis process? Alkenes forming, at the same time carbon dioxide is forming. At which of the following substances formed at cathode in the Kolbe electrolysis? Hydrogen gas is forming. So very very important. The mechanism is clear mechanism. So better to take the screenshot. And the last preparation method is dehydration of alcohols. This is the last preparation method, dehydration of alcohols. In the next class we will discuss that physical properties and chemical properties, and the last preparation method is dehydration of alcohols. Very important preparation method, dehydration of alcohols. Dehydration of alcohols. Dehydration of alcohols. So what is the meaning of dehydration? Generally we are usually listening in the summertime very more. Dehydration means what? Removal of the water, right? So from the body some amount of water is removing because of the due to the summer season, we can say dehydration process. So dehydration of what? Alcohols. Dehydration of alcohols. So let us see what is the dehydration of alcohols here. So now alcohol group, any one of the alcohol you can take. This alcohol, when you reacted with concentrated sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid is behaving as a best dehydrating agent, means sulfuric acid removes the water. That's why sulfuric acid we call as a dehydrating agent here. So now alcohols when react with concentrated sulfuric acid at the temperature of 170 degrees centigrade. What is that? Alcohols react with a concentrated sulfuric acid at the temperature of 170 degrees centigrade. Alkenes are possible. What is possible here? Alkenes are possible. So let us see how the alkenes are possible by reaction with the concentrated sulfuric acid. So for this we have to do the mechanism, because the mechanism is completed in totally 3 steps. So let us see that how the mechanism is completed in 3 steps. So mechanism, first step I am taking. For that I am taking one example I am taking first of all. So this is a general example, and one of the example I am taking dehydration of alcohols here. For example I am taking CH3, C and CH3. Next one is CH3, CH2OH. This is one of the alcohol, right? This is one of the alcohol. So I am reacting this alcohol with a concentrated sulfuric acid at 170 degrees centigrade. What is the temperature? 170 degrees centigrade. At 170 degrees centigrade, what is forming? Water is removing. That means alkenes are possible. So what is the alkene is possible? When this is the what? Alcohol. Alcohol react with concentrated sulfuric acid. Alkenes are possible. Let us see what type of alkene is possible. CH3. Next what is here? Double bond CH and CH3. This is a water product is possible, right? So this is the alkene is possible. Let us see how this alkene is possible. So for that we have to follow the mechanism. Totally 3 steps is present in the mechanism. So first step means step 1 here. So every step and step, each point I am explaining, the students who is not understanding and who is confusing with the organic chemistry. I'm explaining very step by step and very clear explanation. So use this and prepare the notes and try to prepare each and every point what I'm explaining on the board, because I said that NCERT textbook only 2 preparation methods are there, but what I'm explaining in nearly 6 preparation methods I'm explaining. Compared to NCERT, extra preparation methods also there here. Means it will be useful for the competitive exam very more. So now step 1 you see here. Step 1 is, first step is protonation. Step 1 we call as a protonation. Protonation nothing but addition of H plus or H plus formation. And we are taking sulfuric acid. As we know, sulfuric acid is acid. Acid releases the H plus ions in the presence of water. So now this is a concentrated sulfuric acid in the presence of water releases the H plus ions. So H plus ion forming, that is called protonation. From where the H plus ion coming? From the sulfuric acid H plus ion is coming. So that is we call as a protonation. So let us see here. First step is CH3, CH3 and CH3 and a CH2OH is a, and from the acid H plus is coming. From the acid what is coming? H plus. And you know that on the oxygen lone pair of electrons present, this oxygen gives electron to H plus. Means now hydrogen to oxygen, a bond is forming, that is CH3, CH3 and CH3, CH2, next of all H2O. Clear? So now here oxygen giving the electrons to hydrogen, mean oxygen losing the electron, then oxygen getting the positive charge. These are step 1. And the step 2, removal of the water. Step 2, removal of H2O. Step 2 is what? Removal of H2O. So H2O is removing. How the H2O is removing? Let us see here. So same step I am taking here. Here carbon to oxygen, a bond is present, but oxygen is having positive charge. Oxygen is more electronegative. On the more electronegative element, a positive charge not a stable. So that's why this H2O not a stable. To get the stable, it requires the electrons. So next what happened here? CH3, next C and CH3, CH3, CH2 and H2O present, right? So this is the H2O on this oxygen positive charge. So next what happened? Carbon to oxygen bond is there. Due to the more electronegativity of the oxygen, this bond is migrated towards the oxygen side. It means H2O, removal of H2O is possible. H2O is removing. So from where is removing? Carbon to oxygen one bond is there. This bonded electrons are migrating to oxygen side. That means this carbon is losing the bond. This carbon is losing the bond means this carbon getting the positive charge. So now carbocation formation is possible. So what is possible here? Carbocation is formed. CH2 plus. This is the carbocation formation. Carbocation is forming. This is the step 2. At the same time, rearrangement also takes place. We discussed when you are reacting with alcoholic potassium hydroxide, starting method. Alcoholic potassium hydroxide, we said that is the E2 mechanism. In E2 mechanism, carbocation does not possible. At the same time, no rearrangement. Carbocation formation, if it is possible, rearrangement is takes place. But carbocation not forming nothing but no rearrangement is takes place. So here carbocation forming, that means it is an even mechanism. At the same time, rearrangement is possible. So what is the meaning of rearrangement? How it is possible? Let us see here. So once again, you remember where the carbocation is possible, if chances is there, rearrangement can occur. So that we can say E1 mechanism. That what you call E1 mechanism. So let us see here. This is the carbocation. If you see this carbocation is primary carbocation, because this carbon is attached to only one carbon directly, primary carbocation. This is also primary, it is also primary, and it is also primary. This is what? Quaternary, because this carbon is attached to how many other carbon atoms? 4 other carbon atoms. So let us see rearrangement, how it is possible. So CH3, C, CH3, and here also what is there? One CH3 is there. Next what is there here? CH2 plus carbocation is there, right? So primary carbocation, secondary carbocation, tertiary carbocation. Tertiary carbocation is more stable. Next secondary carbocation, next primary carbocation. Means primary carbocation is very less stable compared to secondary, compared to tertiary. It means the primary carbocation always try to convert it to secondary or tertiary if chance is there. That is called rearrangement. Once again, it is a primary carbocation. Primary carbocation not a stable. Secondary carbocation is some more stable, tertiary carbocation is very more stable. Stability order of carbocations, tertiary carbocation, secondary carbocation, primary carbocation. It's a primary carbocation. Primary carbocation is very less stable. So if you want to get the more stable, either this primary carbocation, it will be converted to secondary or converted to tertiary. That is called rearrangement. So a less stable carbocation converted to more stable carbocation, we call it the simply rearrangement. So let us see here. This is the primary carbocation, right? So next what happened? For example, this CH3, if it is takes the electron towards itself. The CH3 takes the electron towards itself. The CH3 converted to what? CH3 minus. And here what? CH2 plus. The CH3 minus will be come to here, and between the CH2 and CH3 bond is developed because one is positive, one is what? Negative. CH3 C, and here also one CH3 is there, and CH2 and CH3. Right. Now this carbon, between these two carbon one bond is there. These bonded electrons are migrating to CH3 side. It means this carbon losing the bond, this carbon is getting the positive charge. Is it clear? Before, this carbon is what cation? Primary carbocation. Now see, this carbocation is what? 1, 2, 3. This carbocation is tertiary carbocation. Before, it is a primary carbocation. Primary carbocation converted to tertiary carbocation to get the more stability. So we can say there is a rearrangement process. Now primary carbocation converted to tertiary carbocation, there is a step 2 possible. And the step 3, elimination of H plus. Step 3 is what? Elimination of H plus. I am removing this one, step 1. Step 3 is elimination of what? H plus. Step 3 is the final step. There is a step 3, elimination of H plus or removal of H plus. Removal of H plus. So how H plus is removal? Let us see here. CH3 and carbon, here CH3, this is a positive charge, and here CH2 and this is a CH3. Now here also we have to follow the Saint-Jeph rule. You have to follow. What is the Saint-Jeph rule? Hydrogen eliminating. From where the hydrogen is eliminating? The carbon which is having less number of hydrogen, from there hydrogen is eliminated. So this is the carbocation, and towards this carbocation, left side one carbon, right side one carbon is there. This carbon is having the positive charge, means it requires the electrons. At the time, either this hydrogen, means this carbon containing hydrogen, this carbon containing hydrogen, this carbon containing hydrogen can be gives the electrons. But this carbon is how many hydrogens? 3. Here 3. Here what? 2. According to Saint-Jeph rule, the hydrogen is eliminated from the carbon which is having less hydrogens. So now from here the hydrogen is eliminated. This is CH2. I can write as a CH and H. Now carbon to hydrogen bond is present, this bond is migrated to here, this H is going out as H plus, and this H plus react with the HSO4 minus from the H2SO4. Because sulfuric acid starting what is released as H plus, H2SO4, starting we are taking the H2SO4, H2SO4 releasing the H plus and converted to what? HSO4 minus. This H plus we are used because that is only eliminating as a water. Right. So that means it is HSO4 minus is there. Now whatever the H plus is releasing, this H plus react with HSO4 minus converted to same as H2SO4. So means we can say as a catalyst, like not involving the reaction, just push the reaction. Again H2SO4 is forming. So that's why here H plus is releasing, and carbon to hydrogen, whatever the bond is there, the bond is migrated to here. At that time what is possible here? CH3, C, CH3, double bond, CH2, CH3. This is the according to Saint-Jeph rule product is formed. So let us see how many substituents is present around the carbon to carbon double bonded compound. 1 substituent, 2 substituent, 3 substituent, more number of substituent is there, that is only major product. So this is the formation of the alkenes, by which process dehalogenation process, dehydration process. What is that? Dehydration process, dehydration of alcohols. So this is the entire preparation methods of the what alkenes. So that is vicinal dihalide we discussed, geminal dihalides we discussed, partial what hydrogenation we discussed, at the same time dehalogenation, dehydration. Okay, so this is the entire preparation methods of the alkenes. So I hope it will be understand you, and if anyone not understanding and if anyone needs some more topics, just keep the topic name in the comment section, and everyone try to share and support my channel, and you will get the updates. Based on your support only I can make the more videos. So more support, more videos. Simply we can say that is a directly proportional. more supporting is there, more videos I can make. So you can give them more likes. I can indirectly we are giving more encouragement to make the videos. So I can make the more videos. It will be useful to you. Otherwise, any other students. Okay. So now in this situation, no students is going to college. So that's why offline class is not their only online classes. Due to the online classes, depend on the time, you may understand or may not. Means in the given 40 minutes of time, less amount of topic will be complete. Otherwise, hurriedly we can complete that. But here we are taking the more time to complete the each and every step. Nearly 1 hour time you taken preparation of only 6 methods. Actually, it will be take 20 minutes or 30 minutes. It will be enough to complete without mechanisms directly. But every student should be understand. A bottom student, average student, a very less subject containing student. Every student should be understand. Further, we are explaining with each and every point I'm explaining. Still, if you have any student confusion to understand, keep the comment section. Keep your message in comment section. So I'll try to explain more simple way. So my concept is this subject to reach every student, and every student should utilize this. Okay. So and once again, thanks to everyone, and because we reached the 250 subscribers, 252 subscribers, with your support, please encourage and support and share the video to every student as your friends and your your siblings. So everyone try to say that subscribe. So this is the today's session. I hope it is understand. And the next session will be discuss about the physical properties and chemical properties of the alkenes. That is also will be completed in one session, but it will be take the more time will be take if you want to explain each and every step. Okay, you keep the message in comment section. You need each and every step. Otherwise, directly react into the product you need. So depend on that, we will explain that. So this is the session. Thank you.